no more games. This is my final episode of Style Theory. So it's either win now or go home as a fashion failure. One final chance to take myself from novice to master. No limits, no budgets. And this time, it's live and in person. Are you ready? Hello, Internet! Welcome to my final Style Theory. In case you missed it, it's not a joke. This is my last episode as host of Style Theory. And I wanted to do something big for it. Something special for this last episode. You see, when I started this channel over a year ago, I knew that it was gonna come down to this moment. I wanted to find out what the key to learning good style was, because I believe that just like anyone can become a theorist, anyone can be a style icon. You just have to do the research, figure out the rules, the hacks, the data behind looking sharp. And when I don't know something, I track down someone who does, and then ask them to teach me. So in part 1 of our epic 4-way stylist showdown, I turned to online stylists to see if the internet would once again hold all the answers. But alas, that road only led to disappointment and me looking like a generic K-pop wannabe. That means that this time, I'm not hiding behind the safety of my computer screen. I'm bringing the experts to me, live and in person, into my home and into my closet. It all started in a closet, and today, that's where it's gonna end. Stephanie and I are determined to find the secret ingredient to elevating our style. And as a surprise gift to all you loyal theorists that have come along on the style journey with us for the past year, at the end of the episode, I'm gonna have a super exciting announcement that you're not gonna wanna miss. It's gonna change the world of fashion on YouTube forever. Editors, set another timer. Alright, that was a bit more intense than I expected it to be, but sure, we'll roll with it. The pressure's on, theorists. We can't afford to waste any more time. The end is near. In our first round of this test, we pitted human against algorithm to take my and Stephanie's style to the next level. And didn't go quite as planned. I highly recommend you check out that episode before this one so you get the whole experience. But long story short, while we learned a lot through the process, we didn't get all the answers that we were looking for. While we got a few good items, we didn't learn how or why these clothes were meant to elevate our style. So this time, we're gonna turn up the pressure. No budget, no barriers, no backing out, no matter how out of our comfort zone these outfits might be. So this time we only have 2 things that we're judging. 1, did they get our style? And 2, can they teach us to be better at styling ourselves? Should be pretty darn simple, right? Well, we're about to find out. Let me introduce you to our stylist options for today, because theorists, they could not be any more different. On one end, we have Jaimee, a part-time personal stylist who does this as her side hustle. Even though Jaimee's been a close personal friend of ours for years, we actually had no idea that she did this, but apparently Jaimee's wanted a chance to dress us up for as long as we've known her, so today she gets the chance. When she heard that we were doing a stylist episode, she jumped at the opportunity to throw her hat into the ring. And Steph and I jumped at the chance to learn whether or not a personal connection would be key to our experiment success. Since Jaimee's known both of us for years, she's seen what we tend to wear on a day-to-day basis, so clearly she should have herself a pretty good leg up on our likes and dislikes, which presumably gives her an advantage, right? I guess we're about to find out. I like us being inverses of each other.
Yeah, I know, I like that.
You're the yin and I'm the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Jaimee will cost us an initial fee of $150 per person for the initial consultation and lookbooks. Depending on how long the shoot goes, she also charges an additional $50 an hour, and we'll also need to purchase the clothing from the lookbooks to try on. On the other side of our style spectrum, we have our most expensive option in the entire series, a professional personal styling business from right here in Raleigh called Refined by Theresa. They pride themselves on their multi-tiered services and flexible scheduling, which, as a very overbooked guy, definitely appreciate. Taking a look at their in-person options, we went with their signature closet audit service, priced at $450 a person. Pretty hefty price tag, but it offered us something that no other service touted, the opportunity to learn. By coming in and going through our closet, they're hopefully able to teach us how to take our current personal styling to the next level. No shopping required. They aren't turning us into some new version of ourselves like we saw in the last episode. They're literally trying to take our existing clothes and give them a new, more fashionable life while figuring out what gaps exist in our wardrobe. If they're able to pull it off, well, that could be a game changer. But to reap the benefits of our 2 talented stylists, we first had to return to our personal purgatory, filling out the fashion surveys. Woo! Okay, last one. Oh my gosh, 500 hours later.
Okay.
Our first go at this took almost 2 full hours to get through, and by the end, we were over it. O-V-E-R, over it.
Get out.
So to save us all the trouble, let me just speedrun us through my and Stephanie's style. When it comes to Steph, there are 3 words that really encompass her looks: comfortable, quirky, and classic. When it comes to the shapes and silhouettes that Stephanie gravitates towards in her wardrobe, she definitely prefers to keep it classic. So our stylist should be steering clear of very asymmetrical or super revealing items. Do you have any concerns regarding modesty?
Please, no nipples. Nips out. Please, no nips out. There we go.
Codpiece though, all in. Stay away from the nips, but codpiece. Oh yeah. But while her silhouettes might be classic, where you do see Stephanie start to show off a wild side is with patterns. Stephanie loves a cute, bold pattern. Whether it's using color blocking or putting cute pasta shapes with faces onto a sweater, she is all in for that. And it needs to be comfortable, meaning no scratchy or stiff fabrics. If she can't take a cat nap in this thing, it is out. When it comes to some of her favorite pieces, sweaters, and more sweaters. As long as they come in fun colors or with a nerdy design, you are a winner in her book. Lastly, as a petite gal, she's always on the lookout to find something that'll help elongate her legs. And then over here, you got me, the guy whose only fashion icon on these surveys is Ken from the Barbie movie. I love bright, bold colors. I appreciate the pieces that make it look like a rainbow just puked on your chest. I mean, for the past 10 or so years, this bright red jacket has become my go-to uniform. Speaking of, I love jackets. Outerwear in general. Honestly, the only thing I might like more than jackets is Diet Coke. I guess my family's in there too. Anyway, as I learned about myself in the last episode, I tend to lean towards structured items that give me a casual internet professional look. When I look at what I'm normally pulling out of the closet on a day-to-day basis, for ease and simplicity, I'm following a pretty regular formula. T-shirt, usually dark, maybe black or with some fun pattern on it, with a bright structured jacket on top. Dark wash jeans, shoes. That said, even though I can very clearly articulate that very predictable formula, I did learn something while filming this episode that was a surprising fact about my wardrobe. You want to know where I get my favorite shirts from? Museums. How weird is that?
Yeah.
But if you look at the most clothes that I have gotten over the last 2 years, it has been from like an art museum. It turns out that while Stephanie and I had go-to items that we love, we didn't really have favorite brands or stores like your average consumer.
I think one of the problems is that we don't have go-to brands, actually. I think what we're discovering here is that we need go-to brands and we don't have them.
Hopefully our stylists can help solve that problem for us. As we went through filling out survey question after survey question, we noticed that this time things felt a bit different. Significantly more thoughtful than the quizzes that we took in round 1. With Jaimee, we saw a lot more effort to get to know us personally, asking about our preferences for metals, do we usually go to a tailor, what influences the items that we're picking when getting dressed in the morning, even stuff about our aversions.
Oh, do you have any textile preferences or aversions?
Oh, that's smart. That's a really smart question.
Yeah.
And while Stephanie and I are certainly down to clown with any fabric, we did really appreciate that Jaimee was looking out for her clients with questions like that. Once we got over to Theresa's questions, it was clear that she was here to do one job: teach. I would like to learn more about the following: how to shop on my own,
I think that's a great one.
how to accessorize, how to use my clothing in multiple ways, how to elevate my look, what cuts are best for my body type and frame. I mean, I'd like to learn all of these things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about this. My hopes at this point were pretty darn high. Like the feeling I get when you take the time to subscribe to the channel. While it may be the end to my time hosting, it's not the end of the channel by a long shot. Style Theory ain't going anywhere, my friends, and to make sure that you never miss an upload, you should smash that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time a new video goes live. Like the one that we have coming up next week that's gonna put Amy into a bit of a hairy situation. Can she wind up shaving the day? Well, it's all to answer a question that you've been asking us for months. So go ahead, subscribe, become a part of one of the fastest growing communities here on YouTube, and prepare for all the amazing adventures that Amy has coming up in the new generation of Style Theory. But for now, it's time to return back to my closet. And as the sun rose on day 1 of our try-on shoot, we were ready to be wowed by the professionals. All right, so we are here with Theresa and Lauren, and you guys have been doing styling for how long?
Well, about 10 years now for me. Refined has been in business for 5, and Lauren joined me 2.5 years ago.
But they have a wealth of experience, certainly way more than we have, and we are so excited and a little bit nervous to have you guys here in our closet.
We'll be gentle.
So I'm gonna hold you to that, Theresa. So how do you go about bridging that gap from being strangers to like, hey, now you're my trusted fashion advisor?
Well, it depends on what service you're interested in. So today we're gonna be doing a closet audit where we're focused mainly on what you already own. So with that, it's just getting to know someone's style, how they're wearing things now, their lifestyle, and how we can like take that to the next level, how we can elevate it and make it more interesting, more fashion forward, and make it make sense.
I'm super excited to sort of get another perspective and get a sense of someone else's outside observation of, you know, how we're doing and how we dress and what would, you know, maybe work better for us. Because I think that's something that everyone has a really hard time of getting an outsider's perspective of themselves. And it's so valuable because you get to see yourself in a whole new light.
Exactly.
Starting off right away, they really leaned into this learning process, and as we all know, I love learning. Theresa and Lauren really wanted to dig in and understand us so they could give us the best advice possible, and I was ready to bear it all. At least bear all my wardrobe. To make things easier, we actually lined up a bunch of our clothes that are usually stored in drawers or hangers behind the camera setup, so it's usually not this much of a mess in here, I promise. During the closet audit, Theresa and Lauren went through all of our items, removing anything they thought didn't serve us anymore. It could have been because of the fit, the color, the vibes. If they pull it, we donate it. Or at least that's the way they normally work, making sure that any lightly used clothing is going to those in need and not just being wasted in a landfill somewhere. And it's at this point, loyal theorists, that I need to take a moment to apologize. I've been hiding something from you this entire time. I've gone through a closet audit like this before, and it was not pretty.
So true story, I had a closet audit like this, but more so it was a closet intervention.
He was a resident assistant for freshmen. So the people he's RAing for are younger than he is, and they staged the intervention. There was one pair of shorts and 2 t-shirts left at the end.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That
no.
was it.
It
Yeah.
was terrible,
Yeah.
and it sucked, but I felt so much better and more confident on the other end about
there you go.
understanding my style and what was and wasn't working. When I'm walking around with a bunch of Reebok windbreakers that are 2 sizes too big, or pleated pants that look like I ripped them off of MC Hammer.
Not 1 pleat, like 8 pleats.
A lot of volume in the crotch area. My groin was ballooning all over the place. You know, teenage MatPat's like, wow, this is making me look great. And then literally everyone around me is like, wow, that guy looks like a weirdo. And one thing that over the last couple days of filming, since we filled out the survey, we feel like we fit into this uncanny valley of style.
We feel a bit stuck in this middle space right now.
And that's kind of the beauty of like personal style is it can be unique to you. You don't have to follow trends. You can buy into the trends that you like. I find a lot that people who are constantly chasing the next new trend are always gonna look dated. When you look back at pictures, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Because you were wearing everything that was popular at one time instead of really cultivating a complete wardrobe that really feels like you and things you really love.
Feeling a lot better about the purge that was about to occur, we were ready to dive in.
Let's kick off the closet audit. First impressions, I'd love to get your take.
I would say organization-wise, 10 out of 10.
Hey!
I really...
Type A is coming through again.
Yes,
Our
yes.
overachieving.
I appreciate the categorization. That makes it easy, not only for me, but for you.
Would you say like at a very foundational level, like even if you do nothing else with your wardrobe, like categorize it?
Oh, for sure. We developed something, it's called the SOSC method. Break down your wardrobe first by season, by occasion, by style, and then by color.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of times just removing everything you can't wear right now from what you're looking at every day just makes it so much easier. There's a lot less clutter to rifle through to find what you're looking for. Also separating by occasion, having like your work wardrobe here and your everyday wardrobe here, so you can kind of like zero in on things, and there can be some crossover, and that's totally fine.
They were speaking our language. Organization, categories, scientific methods. All we needed was a color-coded Excel sheet and we'd be in heaven.
Since I've been through this before and I've had that Band-Aid ripped off
Yes,
before,
yes.
you can
We'll
start with
ease in
me.
with you. We've heard that the t-shirt and the fun jacket's kind of like your go-to formula,
Yeah,
right?
that's very easy for me. I actually change clothes probably 6 times a day because of the different amounts of filming that we're doing. A jacket and an easy t-shirt is very easy for me to swap between a lot of different outfits. That's kind of the comfort zone that I've fit into.
So maybe today we can try to create 1 or 2 different formulas that
That'd
are
be great.
easy for you to go to, and also identify some ways to style these things a little differently. For example, like this.
Yes.
Do you wear it often?
That is a souvenir item that I got from the Harajuku district in Japan. I love it, but yeah, when it comes to like actually wearing in a day-to-day setting, not so much.
So is this something you would want to wear more, or in your mind is this more just like I have it because it's a memory?
If I could figure out a way to wear it more often, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Because I love the color, I love the vibrancy, but I also know it's a very extreme piece.
Maybe there's something we can do today that will allow you to get more use out of.
Yeah, the spooky clown face pattern, we can make that work a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, there is clown faces on here.
Yeah, something about the hot pink clown face jacket told me that I was probably gonna be Theresa's most interesting client. But hey, she's a pro. So if anyone can figure out how to find styles that coordinate with spooky clowns, it's gonna be her. Theresa really had to keep keen eye for finding new and interesting ways to mix and match our clothes that we already had. For example, I have a number of button-down shirts that I only wear for formal occasions like weddings, and tend not to wear them for anything other than that. But Theresa suggested that I take one of my sweaters and layer that on top for a brand new look, and it totally worked. I gotta say, I really appreciated how supportive our top-tier stylists here were. Rather than just being like, oh, you should get rid of this, or oh, that's ugly, Theresa made sure to ask us what we really liked about each and every piece. If we liked it and wanted to wear more, well, she would put it aside and figure out a way to work on it later. And when she did think that it was time for me to let an item go, she had a very gentle way of making it known.
So this,
Yes.
do you wear it much?
I haven't in years.
Okay, good. Let's get rid of it.
Okay.
It's a little dated.
It's my safari shirt.
It's not super interesting, and I think that, and you'll hear me say this a lot, like, I think you're too cool for this shirt.
We ended up spending over an hour meticulously going through each and every item in my wardrobe. We found a couple of items that it was time to let go of, but we also picked out a couple of pieces that I really like, but never really found a good way of wearing. And Theresa was prepared to give us advice on how to wear them, but first, we had to go through Steph's side of the closet.
What's your formula?
So for the months between September and like April, I'm a jeans and sweater gal. I'll have visual interest up here, and I'll tend to go pretty boring on the bottom. I love to incorporate fun shoes, but because I have a kid, because I'm walking around all the time, the really dainty high heel like part of my life, that's in the past.
The metallic pink platforms?
You don't wear those?
No, those are okay. So we went to the premiere of the Mario movie and I went hardcore peachcore. So it was all pink and those were the shoes for that particular moment.
I already
So-
put together an outfit in my head. When we first got here, and we were kind of playing around with those shoes.
Ooh. Oh, I would love an excuse to wear those again.
Theresa being drawn to the pink platforms definitely gave her a couple of points in my book. She wasn't afraid of some of the wild and crazy options that existed in our closet. In fact, she was trying her best to lean into them. Why? Because she could tell that those were the items that Stephanie and I really enjoyed. I could see the gears working in her mind as she tried to find ways to make these difficult items into new fashionable attire. And that definitely included ditching things that didn't quite suit our current era.
So this was Stephanie when she worked a desk job. At the time that I bought this was an investment piece for me. This is Banana Republic. This is not a $20 shirt. This was like, whoa, a $35 shirt. I still in my brain view it as this really nice piece I have, even though looking at it now, I'd be like, I would never pick this up off the rack. Same with this piece, I haven't worn it in a while. I put it on when we went through our wardrobe and I was like, this still looks okay. I was like, it's not covered in cat hair or pills, so can't I just keep wearing it?
You know that the baseline is pretty low when it's, is it covered in cat hair or pills? Also, just for the sake of everyone at home, when we say covered in pills, we're not talking about like medication.
No, like the little linty pill.
Theresa and Lauren took us through each of Stephanie's pieces, saw what worked, what we wanted to elevate, and what could get the axe. Even helped us find a lot of gaps in our wardrobe.
Do you have a turtleneck? There were a few things where I was like, if she had a black turtleneck.
I don't have a black turtleneck. We can identify a gap. Yes.
She's learning.
But one thing I know we'll never succeed in getting Stephanie to do, remove a price tag.
Why are the tags still on
Because
this?
you don't take the tags off your clothes.
Between the two of us, we filled up an entire clothing rack of pieces that we loved but needed help learning to style properly. So Theresa and Lauren combined their fashion powers to give our old clothes new life. And I, for one, was excited to see what they had in store.
Okay, I'm standing in the hot seat, and I gotta say, I love this. This is so good. And again, it's all stuff that I already had in my closet and didn't use. Like these corduroys, I haven't worn them since I bought them. This shirt, I've only reserved for formal events with the family that are too boring for my other fun shirts. It brings such fresh life to these pieces that I had no idea what to do with.
It's like getting new clothes without getting new clothes.
It also
great.
feels significantly less wasteful.
And that right there, that was a big win. With nearly 11.3 million tons of textile waste ending up in landfills each year in America, learning to reuse and give new life to clothing that you already have not only helps you save money, it can also have a large-scale impact on the environment. Don't you love it when everything comes together?
So this is me in my first outfit. This is the a casual look. Again, same as Matthew. This is taking stuff that was underutilized in my wardrobe or never even got seen and putting it together in a way that feels super comfortable. I do like these shoes, but I never would wear them with a pant like this. I've never worn this open. like a cool Miami grandpa. I love this.
I was gonna say, I have not seen you looking this relaxed. Even in your relaxed clothing,
I know.
You're not this relaxed. It embodies your sense of style and your personality, but in something that feels easy, but still looks put together.
The outfit was given Palm Beach Barbie, though I was still looking for my Kenspiration to show up in this outfit. Maybe we'd have a bit more luck in the next one.
All right, outfit 2. This one, a lot more extreme. And I like how this has come together. You're mixing a really extreme pattern with another really extreme pattern, and I'm curious how you did that. I worry that if I were to try to recreate something like this or do something similar, that it would become like super messy and cluttered and confusing.
There are some kind of guidelines you can think about. So a really easy way to start mixing patterns is to just stick with patterns with the same colors. If anything has just like 2 or 3 colors, finding another pattern that has at least 1 or 2 of those colors represented will help. And then you want some diversity in the size of your pattern. So a smaller pattern with a larger pattern. So here your shirt has a little bit of smaller, more busy pattern, whereas this is like a huge graphic.
Even though we all agreed that the outfit wasn't perfect, the lesson still stood. I've always liked bright colors and patterns, but whenever I tried to mix them before, it ended up less maximalist and more just maximum eyesore. But Theresa was able to set me up with a formula that I could follow, kind of like the Pythagoras of personal styling. Next outfit.
Ta-da! Here's outfit number 2. Again, very unexpected. I feel like we've both taken a step into the louder end of the spectrum, putting together this vest, which I love, tucking it in, which is something I never would have thought of, but gives it a whole other level of structure, pairing it with a polka dot here and a polka dot here. Not something I ever would have done, and I look at myself and I'm like, oh, this is so fun. I'm really enjoying this. I like looking at myself in the mirror. I make myself smile. This is a big win for me.
And because we were all having so much fun playing dress up, Theresa and Lauren actually threw in a bonus outfit for both of us free of charge.
This is it. This is awesome. I love this. I love this outfit. I think it's so cool. It is so fun. I feel so fresh and hip and alive. I've had these pants in my drawer for a long time, but I don't know what to do with brown pants. You have allowed me to find a jacket and an outfit and a complete ensemble here that uses them and makes me feel cool wearing them.
Matthew wears brown!
Matthew wears brown!
Getting me to enjoy wearing a neutral, a khaki, was actual witchcraft. Steph was also feeling the magic.
I was told that no arms needed
No.
in this one. It's more of a cape situation.
Exactly.
This is a really easy outfit for me to wear. These are jeans that I've had and I love and I wear all the time. Same goes with the shirt. I really like this one. This is one I've had for a while and that I also really enjoy, but don't always know the right thing to pair with. And then I've gotten to break out shoes that I haven't worn in years. I love these shoes and I just haven't had a moment where I thought that they looked sophisticated enough, but actually, together, I think this all looks really nice.
Sure, they had the advantage of using our own existing clothing, but each look gave new life to pieces that had been sitting around for years, waiting to be worn. Not only did they give us the building blocks to do this by ourselves, they were able to give us clear, concise reasons for each outfit they were making, each item that they were removing, and even taking some of our most wild pieces and turning them into something that felt more wearable. In total, we spent $900 for the 2 closet audits, and $0 on new clothing items. Though Theresa did provide us with a post-mortem on what items she would recommend we get to fill in the gaps in our wardrobe. All in all, it was a big win for both of us, which meant it was time for our final option. We were turning to someone we knew, someone we trusted, someone who had seen us on our good days and our not so good days, to see if that personal connection with us could unlock the final piece of this entire puzzle, the piece that we were still missing, pushing us out of our comfort zone just enough to elevate our style to the next level.
Today we're joined by Jaimee Daniels, who is a longtime friend of ours.
We've known Jaimee for about 4 years.
What's especially cool is that we didn't know that this side of Jaimee existed until just recently. It only came to our attention that you've been doing this for what now? 3 years?
3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what got you into it?
My love of fashion started with my mom. My mom was a businesswoman. She worked for a Fortune 500 company, and so she always wore dresses, pantsuits, skirt suits, heels every single day.
She's a stylish lady.
She is. She's so stylish. I always wanted to emulate her style. I was encouraged in college to go into a career in either medicine or the allied health profession, so I kind of did that, but I always missed fashion. So I started creating these OOTDs, and then people started giving me compliments. My family just encouraged me to do this as a side business, and so I've been doing it for the past 3 years. I just love fashion so much, and I like helping other people find their fashion too.
Over the previous week, Jaimee had taken our survey answers and designed each of us a custom lookbook. In it, she provided both of us a set of casual, professional, and formal options.
So first, here's just my little notebook. As soon as Stephanie brought this opportunity to me, I immediately went home and I scribbled down so many different things, like designers that I thought would really work for Stephanie, coquettish, girly, with fun quirks, different type of accessories that Stephanie would have.
Immediately, we could tell the amount of thought and planning that went into Stephanie's lookbook. Unlike what happened with the Fiverr stylist, Jaimee wasn't just trying to get Stephanie to fit a mold of pre-selected items, she was trying to fit the items to Stephanie. As for me, well,
I'm a blank
Wait, is
page.
it just that?
Yes, bright colors and leathers.
what can I say? I'm a simple man, I have simple, vibrant tastes. And then she said something unexpected.
I want to go back to Ken. There's so many different Kens. So I went back and watched the movie just because of you. It wasn't a bad reference at all because there's so many different Kens. There's beach Ken, there's formal wedding Ken, villain Ken, Ken in leather, mermaid Ken. I tried to find a tail for you. It would not come in time. I was really excited about it.
That would have been great.
Yet even with no mermaid look, Jaimee did it. She gave me the Kenergy that I was looking for. At long last, someone understood the assignment. But before I could truly celebrate, we needed to go through the lookbook.
Okay, so take us through the lookbook.
When I think of you, I also thought of Back to the Future for some reason.
It is one of my favorite movies of all
I
time.
actually think that's so on point. Like, it's nerdy and sciencey, sure, but it's also whimsical and like kind of tongue-in-cheek, which I think embodies a lot of your vibe.
As we started to scroll, I think our reaction says it all.
Ooh.
And she was setting up some baby steps to ease us out of our comfort zone.
So is this jacket also for me?
Yes, it is. I thought it would be a great way to kind of get you away from leather.
That's fair.
Speaking of jackets, it turns out that Stephanie has been the true jacket influencer this entire time.
I already knew you also had a very structured jean jacket
Yes,
in your wardrobe.
I love it.
One should always
I've had it
use.
for years.
I bought one just because you had one.
Look at you, style influencer Stephanie.
That's never happened before.
As we browsed through the rest of Jaimee's lookbook selections, we were happy to see a wide variety of interesting and quirky options that we were excited to try on. Once again, Amy and Ash teamed up to shop for 2 outfits each for us to try on, picking items that they felt best showcased what Jaimee had to offer while still pushing us out of our comfort zones. Starting with something that would truly make Ken proud, a pair of pinkish pants. Kind of more red, I guess.
All right, so casual outfit number 1. I gotta say, I like this one. I like this one a lot.
I think you look great.
This is really cool. Across the board, I love the playfulness of the shirt. I think the color is great. I think the contrast is nice. It's fun without being too loud and in your face. I like structure. That was the one thing that I hit over and over again on all the different surveys. I like things that are polished and structured. The white shirt does that, but the layer on top shows that, hey, I can also be relaxed and fun.
Structured but not stuffy.
Yep, that's exactly it, Steph. It only took us 2 giant episodes and me leaving the channel to finally figure out how to describe my style. Structured, but not stuffy. Perfect. Someone make me a Pinterest board to commemorate it. And Steph, at this point, was bursting at the seams waiting for her turn.
Steph, go for it.
Ta-da!
I love this cardigan on you so much.
I love everything about the top half of this, for sure. I'm in love with this sweater. This is like a new staple of my wardrobe now. It's so comfortable, it's oversized. I really like this skirt. Where I struggle a little bit is with the shoes. That's the only thing.
But I completely agree with you though. Now that I'm seeing it like all together, I think I would pair it maybe with your loafers or some booty. I think that would be a much better fit.
But I think that this is overall so fun. I love the slouchy look with the skirt. All I think I need here is maybe a slight adjustment in the shoe, and I think we're there.
And with 2 wins solidly under our belt, we were ready to take this party from day to night with our formal options.
I gotta say, I love this. I am so floored by everything that I'm wearing right now. I wish that we were hosting the Streamy Awards again this year, so that way I could bust this out. This is everything that I want a formal wear suit to look at.
I don't think I can properly express on camera how much I love this suit. Jaimee knocked it out of the park. We all collectively agreed that the butterfly bow tie was a bit much, but once we took it off, it opened everything up on the suit. It was a complete win across the board. The fit was flattering, the shoes helped tone down the busy floral pattern, the lightweight cotton material meant that I wouldn't be sweating up a storm. It even came with one of my favorite things of all time, lore.
I also want to just call out immediately, as I was getting dressed, I noticed some of the tags. The marriage might fail you, but this suit won't. That's dark, man.
There was even a tag on the pants that said till death, but I didn't have time to solve the mystery because Steph was ready to strut her stuff.
I also love this. I think you and I partner very well. This is incredible.
Oh,
is
this little
incredible.
thing? So taking this off the rack, I would say extremely unexpected for me personally. Not something that I would ever pick up in the store. I love this color. I love a sleeve with some volume. I ended up thinking that this was really flattering. Like, I never look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you just have legs for days, girl. And look, legs for days. I think this is so fun.
And that was the word that we kept coming back to time and time again here, fun. Jaimee spoke to the part of us that just like to play with wild patterns and bright, vibrant colors, which was exactly what we asked for from the very beginning. And her familiarity with our normal styles meant that she could easily look at an item and know if it would flatter us. I think that this gives strong supporting evidence for the fact that if you have someone in your life that you trust and whose style you admire, ask them for advice. Get them to pick out a couple of items that they think might look good on you. As your friend, they want you to look good, and they can guide you along the path to testing out a style. So while she did end up being the most expensive option of the entire experiment, ringing in at a whopping $1,429, though to be fair, she did buy an entire suit, multiple pairs of shoes, a giant party dress, and a ton of accessories, I couldn't deny that Steph and I loved the way that we looked. We finally felt pushed outside of the box that we'd been trapped in for years. It was our style, but a new evolution to our style, something that was slightly elevated from where we were before.
When you actually think about it, Steph and I fall into this weird middle area where, you know, we're parents, and as a result, there are certain expectations with being close to 40. But we do not dress like close to 40-year-olds, and that doesn't really reflect our style. I think a lot of the stuff that we were trying on with Stitch Fix was probably closer to where people our age are expected to dress.
Well,
Like,
I just think that people in their 30s in general are expected to be in the middle of their career. So they're expected to likely be going into an office. They're expected to probably be either parents or thinking about becoming parents. So they're thinking about like buttoned up school events, more like functional clothes where you can work with your kids, less stuff that's going to be fragile or delicate or require a lot of maintenance. And so you end up with these silhouettes and these outfits that are not too fun. There's literally like the dad uniform and the mom uniform. And if you're falling outside of that, you stand out at like school events, you stand out in places like kids' birthday parties. We also just stand out in the general public of people who are usually going into an office for a job where we debate each morning if we're gonna walk down to the office wearing shoes or not. So we fall outside of a lot of the expectations, and we don't want to dress to the expectations that everyone around us.
we're not just falling out from like people in our age range and our life stage in a lot of cases, but also in our industry. Our industry, this digital video world that we exist in, it is the era of TikTok and young teenagers and early 20-somethings, and we're not them. And so if we try to dress in the like most fashionable, trendy things that are circulating right now, it doesn't work for us because that's just not who we are.
That's just not interesting to us. I think we want to have a nice balance of like being fun and also thinking about pieces that are lasting. It's a tricky balance to strike.
Taking into account our experience in the first episode with Fiverr and Stitch Fix versus our two stylists today, there is one thing that is abundantly clear. Personal interaction, that one-on-one consultation time, it is the key to getting the most out of any styling service. While Jaimee and Theresa were certainly on the pricier side of the spectrum up front, long-term, we're talking about a different story. By teaching you and setting you up with the skills and confidence that you need to approach your clothing in a new way, they are saving you money in the long term. Because with Stitch Fix and Fiverr, you have to keep going back to them for more and more options, spending more and more money on service fees and clothes that, let's face it, are statistically less likely to fit your style. Then you're stuck with a pile of textiles just rotting away in your closet that you're not going to be using all that often, and now you're out a significant amount of money on top of it. It is a lose-lose across the board. So in the end, who really wins? It was me and Steph, because we've been able to go on this journey together. And I'm not just talking about the stylists. As my time on this channel comes to an end, as this timer finally ticks down to 0, I can't help looking back on the crazy idea that we had so many years ago.
Our feet shoes, but hey, that's just a theory.
A style theory.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful.
Oh, that's such a
yes.
good catchphrase.
Done.
Back then, I had no idea what this channel would look like, what wild adventures we'd go on here. Over the course of this past year, I've gotten to test edible underwear, open your eyes to the crimes of some of the biggest sellers in the space, even permanently tattoo a checkerboard pattern onto my skin. I'm legitimately concerned that it is a permanent tattoo. That'll be a weird souvenir to take away from this channel, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. More than any of the other channels, Style Theories brought the team together in ways none of us ever expected. When you take mud baths and showers together and then film it all for content, yeah, that'll do it. It's not every day that you hear your analytics guy singing in the shower.
Okay, me out to the ball game.
But that journey's also been helpful for all of us in different ways. Ash's wardrobe, for instance, completely changed thanks to the Color for Skin Tone episode, and they look and feel great about those changes. 5 members of the team literally threw away their old makeup thanks to the Poison Makeup episode. I will never forget my sunscreen ever again, and I think we all pay a bit more attention to our flossing habits thanks to that toothbrush episode. And you know what? I'm so excited for what's to come. I may not be voicing the next generation of episodes, but I'm gonna be watching along in the background. Just like you guys, I'm gonna be there in the audience, learning and growing in my own personal style journey. Once a theorist, always a theorist. And honestly, this isn't gonna be the last time that you see me either. I told you at the start of the episode that I had a huge announcement. And no, I'm not rescinding my retirement or anything like that. But the team and I have actually been working on a huge project, a huge event, Creators in Fashion. This is gonna be a never before seen type of event happening here on YouTube. We're bringing the glamour of Fashion Week and runway shows to you, and we're not doing it alone. We're gonna be joined by tons of your favorite creators, both on and off the runway, as we turn the spotlight on all the hard work that creators have been doing. They're designing apparel, they're building businesses and brands on par with some of the biggest names that you see in Vogue or walking in Fashion Week. And we want to give them all a moment to shine here live on the channel, on Style Theory. In just over a month, on April 25th, we're gonna be doing the biggest thing to hit fashion in a long time. We're gonna be live streaming the first ever Creators in Fashion event live, right here on Style Theory, and you're gonna be a part of it. You know who else is gonna be a part of it? Me, because I'm gonna be returning to help host the show alongside Amy, as well as a couple other surprise appearances. So mark it on your calendars, my friends, April 25th, 2024, Creators in Fashion happening right here on Style Theory. So while I might be saying goodbye today, and I won't be hanging out with you here every week, I'm not gone forever. But I am confident that I'm leaving this channel in good hands. Amy has been here since the beginning. She loves this channel just as much as I do. I highly recommend that you get to know a little bit more about your new host thanks to the playlist that we put on the top shelf of the channel page to celebrate and surprise Amy. Even on my way out, I got a couple surprises up my sleeve. So good luck, Amy! And to all of you loyal Style Theorists, I'll see you back here on April 25th. And so for one final time, I say to you, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp. Remember, beauty is a science. I didn't use that one enough. Should have used it a little bit more.